Here we go. Shalom, shalom. Get this going real quick. Yeah, Shalom Akim. First and foremost, I'm saying, call hello, Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shah Bashem, the Prophet Dashem, some double honor to the apostles, the elders, and bishops. Great millstone, much peace, love, and salutations to you brothers out there pushing the word of Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shah, sincerity and truth. This is Brother Ariala, and this is a World War III algo update. I put the small hats are at it again. Will Iran respond? Over the last few years, we've seen the state of Israel do preemptive strikes against Iran and, use whatever manner of propaganda that they need to justify aggression, saying that, they're protecting themselves, saying that Iran is wanting to create a nuclear weapon. We got to protect ourselves. They want to kill us. And, we've been talking about this earlier, how Esau plays the victim, but they're also the villain. Psalms 141, deliver me, O Lord, from the evil man, preserve me from the violent man, which imagine mischiefs in their heart. Continually are they gathered together for war. They have sharpened their tongues like a serpent's. Adder's poison is under the lips, Selah, right? And they're always, plotting to move forward. We see what's going on with the MOTV. We see that they are steadily trying to get themselves ready. They just did a weapons deal with Saudi Arabia, and other Arab nations. And along with that is to move forward with the new digital age, because that's going to be the new petroleum. It's going to be data and the control of data, and you're going to have that computation powers never really kind of before seen. So we see in the news they're talking about Palantir and their surveillance state, the AI agents, the ability for supercomputation, supercomputing, everything that they're rolling out with, AI governance and everything like that. All of these things are happening in conjunction with prophecy, with the mark of the beast, and with the war of Armageddon. All of these things are happening. It's a complete algorithm. All right. I'm gonna play this update real quick, and let's listen to some Net Notaju.
Terrorists all over the region. The Secretary of the Supreme National Security Council and nuclear scientists were all apparently targeted. Coming up in just
I don't know. Y'all brothers can correct me if I'm wrong, but has Ben Shapiro been wearing his small hat more recently, or because I don't think I've noticed him wearing his small hat? But he's a small hat, so they'll justify anything.
In a few moments, we'll be joined by the former Prime Minister of Israel, Naftali Bennett, to discuss this. He's been pushing for Israel to strike what he called the head of the octopus for a very long time. Prime Minister Netanyahu did put out a full statement in Hebrew, and then he put out one in English explaining exactly what happened tonight. Here was the current Prime Minister of Israel.
Israel launched Operation Rising Lion, a targeted military operation to roll back the Iranian threat to Israel's very survival. This operation will continue for as many days as it takes to remove this threat. For decades, the tyrants of Tehran have brazenly, openly called for Israel's destruction. They've backed up their genocidal rhetoric with a program to develop nuclear weapons. In recent years, Iran has produced enough highly enriched uranium for 9 atom bombs. 9. In recent months, Iran has taken steps that it has never taken before, steps to weaponize this enriched uranium. And if not stopped, Iran could produce a nuclear weapon in a very short time. It could be a year, it could be within a few months, less than a year. This is a clear and present danger to Israel's very survival. 80 years ago.
Pause it right there. Okay, the point that Netanyahu is making right there, and this is the correct point, is that the breakout time for an Iranian bomb could be a month, it could be 6 months, it could be a year. But the bottom line is that an Iranian bomb is an existential threat to the state of Israel. Iran has very often suggested that Israel is what they call a one-bomb state, meaning one bomb could take out nearly the entire majority of the population of Israel. And Israel has a closing window because recall that in the prior exchanges with Iran, in which Iran fired missiles at Israel.
Now, he's saying all this. They're saying Iran is a threat. Iran is a threat. But who's preemptive striking who consistently? Who is the aggressor in the Middle East consistently? It's the state of Israel. They have a much more significant technologies and capabilities that they've been given from the United States. Now, we're going to see if Iran is going to respond. You know, that's really what, we've been calling out over the last few years concerning prophecy. We need, we need Iran to freaking respond and stop letting the state of Israel just hold them around. And Shalom Rakari Kwon, I sent you the link if you want to jump in. But yeah, it's just ridiculous. The level of propaganda and how they talk about it. But it gets worse. I'm going to keep playing.
Well, then Israel went back at Iran and destroyed all of their air defenses. Once that window closes, it becomes much more difficult for Israel to perform the kind of operation that it is currently performing. In the last round of fighting, Israel, with airstrikes, took out a bunch of Arrow 3 systems, took out a bunch of missile defense systems and air defense systems that Iran had in place that had been supplied by Russia. And Israel destroyed them. And so the skies over Tehran were clear. And so that window was closing. And meanwhile, Iran was racing to build more ballistic missiles, racing toward a nuclear weapon. And so Israel wouldn't have a perfect perspective into when the window would close. They just know the window was closing. Here's Netanyahu.
Victims of a Holocaust perpetrated by the Nazi regime. Today, the Jewish state refuses to be a victim of a nuclear Holocaust perpetrated by the Iranian regime. Now, as Prime Minister, I've made it clear time and again, Israel will never allow those who call for our annihilation to develop the means to achieve that goal.
You see the type of ridiculous type of inflammatory talk that Esau will go through, Amalek especially, will go through to justify themselves. We've got to protect ourselves from a nuclear attack. They're trying to kill all of us. Right. It's just ridiculous.
Tonight, Israel backs those words with action. We struck at the heart of Iran's nuclear enrichment program. We struck at the heart of Iran's nuclear.
Shalom,
Hey, shalom, Zakon, Yahabashir, Shabrakata, shalom, Makim.
Hey, you hear this dude, bro? Hey, I love it, though. I love it. But this dude is insane, man.
And the gaslighting is serious, man.
I'm all for it, but people eat this stuff up. It's crazy. It's crazy. Now, we read the scripture all the time. The least shall draw them out. I know how, Duke and Hakai is gonna love this. Yeah, these Amalekites are drawing out the nations for war. and they got a spirit that's been put on them. They got a spirit that's put for you. I mean, you look at this guy, you listen to this guy. He's clearly a man that does not have any type of reason. There's just an agenda that they want to accomplish, and they're set out fully to do it. Okay.
Weaponization program. We targeted Iran's main enrichment facility, Natanz. We targeted Iran's leading nuclear scientists working on the Iranian bomb. We also struck at the heart of Iran's ballistic missile program. Last year, Iran fired 300 ballistic missiles at Israel. Each of these missiles carries a ton of explosives and threatens the lives of hundreds of people. Soon, those missiles could carry a nuclear payload, threatening the lives.
You know, he refuses to acknowledge that was in response to Israeli aggression, why the Iranians were attacking. And we're going to see if Iran's going to do a little bit more and really get this thing popped up. What you got?
And I was just going to say, if you actually look at what's happened, these devils, they kind of set up a situation where they made it look like America is trying to make peace. And, you know, there was a thing where I think a few weeks ago, they said this propaganda that Trump is not talking to Netanyahu and they're not going to back them and all this, which is all lies. They're 100% involved, 100% backing them, 100% they're using American infrastructure to do all this. 100%. But this how the devil operates, man. It's all like underhandedness, pretending to be your friend, pretending peace, but in the middle of the peace talks, Israel attacks. Oh, we didn't know that was going to happen. They absolutely did know it was going to happen.
Because you can't just do these attacks without a lot of game planning and gaining a lot of intelligence. And the United States intelligence apparatus, along with the state of Israel, is some of the top of the line intelligence apparatuses, which it takes a lot of time to get these things going. It's not like Iran is just going to say, hey, come and bomb the site right here. No, you have to actually have it mapped out and have it spied out in order to do these operations, man. So, you know.
Yeah, and then what happens is, you know, America gets to pretend to be the peacemaker. So then if Iran retaliates now, they could be like, oh, see, we need to step in because these people are the devil, man.
Yeah, we have to protect our allies. They are being ruthlessly attacked. Okay.
Yeah.
Brother Pushai put Psalms 55 and 20 and 21. He hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He hath broken his covenant. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. So, you know, it goes exactly into what the required quorum is talking about. These guys pretend that, you know, the United States sits in the background and says, you know, we hope that they can come to peace terms. Meanwhile, they're war gaming in the background, you know?
Yeah, they already had it set up that they were going to do this. And then another thing, that scripture is a heavy scripture because if you look at the Christianity, and it's beautiful that this guy Vocab came to London, and then I don't know if you saw it, but with one of the brothers, he tried to say, oh, you're gentle and kind. This doctrine don't sit right with you. Well,
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, like, but so where are all the Christian voices that are saying love thy neighbor, God is love, forgiveness, all right, being gentle and kind? Where's Vocab Malone saying, oh, it's not Christian to be blowing people up?
Right.
Where are they? All the Christians are supporting this.
Yep.
Here it is. We prophesy against our enemies with discipline. You don't see us punching up Edomites at camp. You don't see us shooting up Edomites. We don't bomb Edomites. In fact, we preach against doing that. We're like, no, the Bible says, wait ye upon me, saith the Lord. preach the word, teach the word. Yeah, we strictly teach the scriptures. And vocab alone says we're unhinged, we're violent, we're hateful. These Hebrew Israelites, yeah, they're actually blowing people up. And he doesn't say anything, which shows you that the whole concept that they stand for love and peace and gentleness and kindness is all a lie. Because if he really stood for those things, the number one people he would be standing against is the Israeli government, the Israeli people, and the American government that's funding them with bombs, giving them weapons of mass destruction to destroy people. But vocab alone doesn't say anything.
Because he's a hypocrite.
Exactly. They're hypocrites. Like, so don't let them come up to the camps, any Christian, and start telling us about hate speech. Please.
Yeah.
Because nobody hates more than Esau does. Esau is the number one hater on the planet Earth because he kills people in real time.
Mm-hmm. The modern Western Christianity is the most bloody. It's the bloodiest cult in the history of the world. You know. So put this into Gronk. I said, how many times has the state of Israel attacked Iran within the last 5 years? It says this: to determine the number of times the state of Israel has attacked Iran within the last 5 years, from June 13th, 2020 to June 13th, 2025, I'll examine the available information from web sources and posts on X focusing on confirmed or alleged Israeli attacks on Iranian territory assets. The data includes both overt military strikes and covert operations, as these are often part of the Israel-Iran conflict. It says confirmed and alleged Israeli attacks on Iran. All right. November 27th, 2020, assassination of Moshe. I'm not going to try to say that name. It says he's a key figure in Iran's nuclear program, was assassinated in Abshard, Iran, with a remote-controlled machine gun. Okay. Classification: convert assassination on Iranian soil. April 11th, 2021, Natanz nuclear facility incident. An explosion disrupted the electricity distribution network at Iran's Natanz nuclear facility, attributed to Mossad activity by Western and Iranian sources. This caused significant damage to Iran's uranium enrichment capabilities. Covert sabotage. Late 2019 to 2021, attacks on Iranian cargo ships. The Israeli commandos reportedly carried out attacks on numerous Iranian cargo ships carrying oil and weapons to Syria from late 2019 to 2021. Right? These attacks occurred in international waters, primarily in the Red Sea, and included a notable April 2021 attack on an Iranian intelligence ship using a limpet mine. All right. June 22nd, 2021, firing at Iris Karg and Tehran oil refinery. June 5th, 3 days later, 2021, explosion at the Zarat Iranian Steel Company. June 23rd, 2021, damage to Iran's Atomic Energy Organization building. A sabotage was done. In July 2021, there was a fire at the Karaj facility, which is a nuclear centrifuge facility. April 2022, drone strikes on drone facility. Israeli drones reportedly hit 2 facilities linked to Iran's drone program. These attacks targeted Iran's growing unmanned aerial vehicles capabilities. May 2022, assassination of what's that mean? Colonel Saeed Khodeji, right? An officer in Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard. Covert assassination. April 13th, 2024, strike on Iranian consulate in Damascus, right? Where they bombed the consulate, killing 16 people. July 31st, 2024, assassination of Ismail Hanagi. The Hamas political chief Hanagi was killed in an airstrike in Tehran during a visit for Iran's presidential inauguration. October 26, 2024, Operation Days of Repentance. Overt airstrikes on Iranian military targets, including air defense systems, missile production facilities, and drone sites. The operation involved over 100 aircraft and was a response to Iran's October 1st missile attack on Israel. 4 Iranian soldiers and 1 civilian killed. June 13th, 2025, which is right now, Operation Rising Lion. And I saw that you said another Twitter post that another round of attacks is being carried out.
Khan.
Yeah, so we're gonna see how this thing escalates. We always, hasten the day and hope for these prophecies to begin to really kick off. We'll play a little bit more of this, and if you have a comment, you just chime in, okay?
Khan.
Lives, not of hundreds, but of millions. Iran is gearing up to produce 10,000s of those ballistic missiles within 3 years. Now just imagine 10,000 tons of TNT landing on a country the size of New Jersey. This is an intolerable threat. It too must be stopped. Iran is now working on what it calls the new plan to destroy Israel. You see, the old plan failed. Iran and its proxies tried to encircle Israel with a ring of fire and to attack us with the horrible attack of October 7th. But the people of Israel, the soldiers of Israel, rose like lions to defend our country. We crushed Hamas.
Well, that was Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu just a few moments ago in Israel explaining the current geopolitical situation of Israel that led to the attacks on Iran tonight in Tehran and Natanz and Fordow, attacking missile factories. You can see secondary explosions in the videos. Attacking nuclear facilities, attacking nuclear scientists, attacking top members of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps. Joining us on the line right now is Naftali Bennett. He's the former Prime Minister of Israel. Prime Minister, thanks so much for joining the show. Really appreciate it.
Hi, Ben. How are you?
We are all watching as this unfolds. So tell me, first of all, what is the feeling like in Israel from on the ground, given what's going on tonight?
Well, there were sirens across Israel, and so all Israelis are alert. It's the middle of the night, and this is long due. Iran has explicitly, time and again, said they want to destroy Israel. Has sped forward with enriched uranium. They today have enough enriched uranium for 10 bombs immediate time frame.
Now the uranium enrichment program that Iran has been explicitly telling everybody it's for energy purposes. It's for coming into the modern age. But the propaganda machine will have you believe that Tehran and these nations, they have to stay in the Stone Age. Meanwhile, the West is continuously proliferating uranium and nuclear capabilities, and it has tons of those capabilities. But this is the spin.
We know that they tried to assassinate President Trump. We know they're the epicenter of all the terror in the Middle East.
What?
Oh, man. Good.
Crazy.
Yeah. Satan.
It's long due, and this is the right thing to do, and all Israelis are united behind this.
So the extent of the operation, so far as we know, targets everyone from top leaders in the IRGC to the nuclear facilities in Natanz and Fordow, possibly other targets as well. Does this appear to be an attempt by the Israelis to decapitate the regime? Is this an attempt at regime change, or is this an attempt to end the military threat from Iran as it currently stands, including the nuclear program?
This is an attempt to save millions of lives, Israeli lives, lives in the Middle East and across the world. Iran wants to destroy Israel. They're working to destroy Israel, and we believe them. They were on the cusp of achieving several nuclear bombs. This was the very last moment, and we did what we had to do. We're doing what we had to do. We're not talking about regime change as a goal. The goal is to protect us, the Middle East, and the world from a nuclear Iran.
Yeah, but
You've been calling
this
it, you
is
say, for Israel to strike it.
this is the thing, yeah. Like, they're making it look like the Iranians are just can't wait to get a nuclear weapon and use it. First of all, the Iranians are not insane people. That doesn't make any sense. It's just like how they tried to make what's that other guy from North Korea? He died, didn't he?
Fat boy.
Like, yeah, the dude, they try to always make it look like, oh, he's just gonna launch a weapon at any moment. Bro, like, nobody does this. Like, the way they're making it sound is like, we need to stop Iran from getting a nuke, because the minute they get a nuke, they're just gonna launch it. And this is part of the system of so-called white supremacy, the ability to slander another group of people as being stupid or insane, almost animalistic, savage. It's the same playbook over and over again. What we're watching is what our brothers Gads had to deal with, and I feel bad for Gad. Because this guy, right, is super unreasonable, and he's just a liar. He will warp reality.
Yep.
Just completely distort reality right in front of you. And we're seeing exactly what Gad dealt with, but that was before TV and social media. They were doing it in the newspapers, and yeah, this is insane. Like, I've got a scripture here, Ezekiel 7:24, and this is referring to our brother Gad. It says, "Wherefore I will bring the worst of the heathen."
And Gad is the so-called Native Americans for newcomers.
Yeah, Gad, the Native American Indians, man. It says, "Wherefore I will bring the worst of the heathen, and they shall possess their houses. I will also make the pomp of the strong to cease, and their holy places shall be defiled." And that worst of the heathen is Esau, because they're the one people that you don't want coming at your doorstep, because they're unreasonable, they're unhinged, they're going to lie and distort reality to kill you.
Yep.
Just blatant lies, just make up a whole alternative reality just to justify killing you. And we're seeing it. Like, the guy just made some shit up, like, oh, they tried to assassinate Trump, and next thing you know, they're working with Martians. Like, you just don't know what this guy will make up.
They'll say anything.
Don't say anything. It's actually insane, and this is what we're dealing with. We're dealing with a devil, someone that just revels in lies and deception, and also has an insatiable bloodlust, who gaslights and still wants to play the victim at the same time. Because he'll pretend to be the victim of the very same things that he's perpetrating on everyone else. So everyone else is invading his countries. Everyone else is taking away their culture. Everyone else is violent.
Yep. Meanwhile, he's doing all the he's doing all the colonizing. He's the one that's perpetuating violence, but he's the victim.
Yeah, he owns all the weapons companies. All these weapons and state-of-the-art weapons aren't made in the ghetto. These are big companies that supply the world with weapons of mass destruction on an industrial scale. Like I just looked up, like if you look up like gang violence and how many people actually die in America from gang violence, the IDF has already eclipsed that like 10 times over
Wow.
in like a year. Like just think about it. They've killed what in a year about 54,000 people. How many people do you think the Bloods and the Crips have killed in a year?
Not that.
Nowhere near that number. But we're painted as violent people, and these people are reasonable.
Yeah.
It's insane. It's insane.
It's wild, man. Wow.
I got one more scripture real quick, and then you can let it roll. This man he needs to be stopped, man. He's a maniac. It says Psalms Psalms 140 and 1. It says,
Oh yeah.
to the chief musician, a psalm of David, deliver me, O Lord, from the evil man. Preserve me from the violent man. And the violent man is Esau Edom. He has always been the most violent, the most unreasonable of all people on the planet Earth. They are not Ned Flanders.
Right.
Ned Flanders is not who they are. They are Yosemite Sam. And they will shoot first. Yeah, this is insane, man.
Yes, sir.
So like, yeah, go on.
No, it's beautiful. That's exactly right. You listening to him, and you were listening like this dude that we're listening to. He's a maniac, and these people are in control of things. They have power, which is like I keep saying, which is a good thing for us because they're just going to move forward with prophecies. But when you look at it objectively, it's like, man, this dude's crazy. Right? Jim has ties a bottom off, but John 8:44, year of your father the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. This is this is the nature of the seed of the serpent, the Edomites. All right. Yeah, Kim was his last name. The guy that was a North Korean.
Yeah. They tried to make that dude look like he was insane, but he never did anything. And it's the same thing they're trying to do with the Iranians. Oh, they're just, if we let them get a nuke, they'll destroy the whole universe because they're just that irresponsible.
Yeah.
They're suicidal.
Damn well that will lead them to be destroyed.
Yeah, like it will be mutually assured destruction, right?
Absolutely.
That's what they call it. But they're just unhinged, because they got beards and they're brown.
Crazy. Right. Dye garments from Basra 144. Shalom Maki put Isaiah 32:6. For the vile person will speak villainy, and his heart will work iniquity to practice hypocrisy. And the hypocrisy is them trying to literally saying we're under threat. Meanwhile, they're doing preemptive strikes and killing people. They refuse to make a peace deal in Gaza, killing women and children indiscriminately. Now, they shouldn't be hiding behind them. Shoot that.
Yeah, they said they got nuclear facilities in the high rises now, so they just
right. They shouldn't be hiding behind the kids. Bomb that baby. F that baby.
Yeah, it's in the nursery. They got the nuclear facility in the nursery. You know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying?
It is a villain, man.
They got missiles underneath a preschool now. It's crazy. Crazy talk. But people believe the BS. They say, man. Yeah, the baby's got the nuclear football. It's crazy as hell, man. It says to practice hypocrisy and to utter error against the Lord, to make empty the soul of the hungry. It will cause the drink of the thirsty to fail. Verse 7, the instruments also of the churl are evil. He deviseth wicked devices to destroy the poor with lying words, even the needy, even when the needy speaketh right. Okay, but even when people are trying to come to some type of energy, nuclear agreement, so they can continue to move forward. Even when people are wanting to have peace talks and peace deals done, they don't do it. All right, they don't do it. They're moving forward with malicious intent. Okay.
It's insane. And I remember, one thing I was going to mention as well, because you brought it out years ago, how over there in the Middle East you got these opposing sects of Islam, and I believe you brought out that the sect that Iran is part of is actually in opposition to the sect that they used to create Al Qaeda.
Yep.
And in fact, Iran is fighting Al Qaeda for real in the Middle East, and then these dudes are fighting Iran. But then Al Qaeda was supposed to be their enemy. Esau is just, it's something else, man. It has to be studied.
They all over the place, man. All over the place.
Called for many years the head of the octopus. Obviously, Iran had encircled Israel with a wide variety of terror tentacles, ranging from Hamas in the Gaza Strip to Hezbollah in Lebanon and Syria to the Houthis in Yemen. This is a major attack, exactly as you had suggested. What do you think the next steps are? There's been a lot of talk about how long this attack will last. It might be multiple days. What do you expect Iran to do in return, and how good is Israel's defense capacity against a possible large-scale missile attack from Iran in response?
Well, this indeed is not a one-off. It's a continuous operation where we're taking out their ballistic missile factories, the Iranian nuclear facilities, military facilities, leadership. So it's a very broad and comprehensive attack, and it'll likely go on for a bit. In terms of defense, Israel has a formidable defense system, but it's not perfect, and therefore the Israeli citizens have to be in shelters when they're told to, and that'll save lives. And I think we'll together persevere and cross this together.
So, Prime Minister, there's been a lot of talk about the United States, its role in all of this. The Secretary of State, as we'll talk about a little later on the show, came out and released a statement saying, tonight Israel took unilateral action against Iran. We are not involved in strikes against Iran. Our top priority is protecting American forces in the region. Israel advised us that they believe this action was necessary for its self-defense. President Trump and the administration have taken all necessary steps to protect our forces and remain in close contact with our regional partners. Let me be clear, Iran should not target U.S. interests or personnel. There's been an attempt by many to drive a wedge between the Trump administration and the state of Israel. This statement does not appear to me to be a wedge. It more appears to say that Israel has her own interests. America has her own interests. Those interests don't always coincide. Both countries had an interest in Iran not having nuclear capacity. And if Israel chose to take a unilateral action without the direct help of the United States in bombing runs, for example, that does not mean that the United States wouldn't be involved in, for example, shooting down missiles that are coming the other way from Iran. And also, that if Iran were to attack anybody involved with the American military, there would be hell to pay.
That's correct. Israel is a sovereign state. We need to defend ourselves. In the past, we did it twice, and we prevented very radical regimes from acquiring nuclear weapons. I'm talking about Saddam Hussein.
These guys are supposed to be like followers of the Torah, right? But this dude shave off all the hair on his face. He looked crazy. You know? He looks like a big toe without the nail. It's just insane, the mindset that these people have, bro. He's just disgusted face, you know.
And one thing you realize is these guys ain't gonna go back there and fight. I was just reading and looking up and they've actually got a negative on JOOs in the state of Israel because they're leaving. More of them are leaving than are coming. You know, and more of them are going to leave after what happened today. Then Ben Shapiro ain't going to go to Israel to fight.
Hell no. But he's going to warmonger his head off though, as usual. I'm gonna switch over to Blackstone Intelligence in a second, but I want to see what.
Oh, he live?
He live, bro.
Oh,
You know, it's serious when he.
Yeah. I was waiting. He was okay. Cool. Yeah.
Their oil fields would be gone tomorrow.
I'm gonna pull him up in a second.
And the Ayatollahs would be dead. That is a point made openly by Senator Tom Cotton of Arkansas. Quote, Iran is the world's worst state sponsor of terrorism. There's the blood of thousands of Americans on its hands, and is rushing to build not only nuclear weapons, but also missiles that can strike the United States. With that,
national sirens, essentially. This is our first time, my wife and I, traveling with our new baby. So this is not exactly how we thought things would play out. It's actually the second time just this week that we had something happen, Ben. And we were getting dinner the other night in Jaffa, the Tel Aviv area, beautiful dinner right on the ocean there. And there was a Houthi ballistic missile. The sirens were loud. We ran, took the stroller down a flight of stairs in the middle of dinner into the emergency room, then went up, finished our dinners. This is the second time in 1 week that our trip has been interrupted. We're supposed to drive to Jerusalem in a few hours to spend Shabbat there, the Jewish Sabbath. You mentioned my book. We're supposed to have an event for my book in Jerusalem this Sunday night. I think suffice it to say, everything right now is certainly in flux right now.
well, speaking of your experiences a little bit earlier, I think that folks need to understand that the level of attack to which Israel has been subjected since October 7th, it is relentless and unceasing. I mean, the Houthis have been attacking nearly every day. When I was in Israel just a few weeks ago, my family was woken up at 6:25 a.m. by what we called the Houthi alarm clock because the sirens went off in Jerusalem. And what that means is you got to take all your kids and you got to shove all your kids into a fairly small room and then essentially take these iron window shades and
they just gonna act like it's not in response to the killing that's going on over in Gaza. Just ignore that.
Can I get a precept real quick? Because everything he just said proves that they're not the real people. This is Jeremiah 30:10. Therefore fear thou not, O my servant Jacob, saith the Lord, neither be dismayed, O Israel, for lo, I will save thee from afar, and thy seed from the land of their captivity. And Jacob shall return and shall be in rest and be quiet. I'll make him afraid. So that proves that 1948 wasn't a fulfillment of Jacob returning to the land, because these men are always scared. That man falling. What do you say? He's falling down the stairs with a stroller. That's crazy.
Bomb is going off.
Niggas getting woke up by bombs and shit. They in the ghetto. That's crazy. Yeah, but that shows that they're not the people. Yeah.
Not at all.
They have not initiated war in over a century against another country, even though the United States has given them every reason to. Like, for example, how we pushed Saddam Hussein to attack Iran. But Iran has not done it. Israel, they attack everybody constantly, and they're a nuclear superpower. They have nukes. Are we trying to stop them? No. So when we come along and we tell Iran, you see all these crazies around you like Israel, like Saudi Arabia, who also wants nukes, attacking, you cannot have nuclear energy, and you certainly can't have nuclear weapons to defend yourself. Now, so Iran said to Witkoff, the U.S. Diplomat handling the negotiations, that's a non-starter. Of course, we're not going to do that. However, we would go back to the kind of JCPOA, the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, also known as the nuclear deal, or that's what they were willing to do, and they did it. Under the Obama administration, Iran agreed we will allow international atomic energy inspectors to come in and investigate and watch our levels, and we will abide by that as long as all parties are doing their parts. One of the things that they're obligated to do, the other parties, is lift sanctions, let Iran have their money back that we froze, things like that. Now, when Trump came along, Netanyahu said, I never wanted this Iranian deal. Look at it. Look what's happening. They're abiding by it. They were found, and the U.S. government confirmed they were in full compliance with the terms of the JCPOA. Every single time they were inspected. But Netanyahu said to Trump in his first term, no, we're going to get rid of that. And of course, Trump is totally beholden to the Zionists. And so Trump pulled the United States unilaterally out of the Iran deal. Now, at that point, the USA being the primary sponsor of this deal, when we back out, even though some of the European signatories were like, well, we'll continue to honor it, Iran continued doing a lot of it. But they said, you know what? We're going to start moving up the amount of uranium that we refine. Now, that is a violation to an extent of the original JCPOA. But when you have two parties making an agreement and one party says, screw this deal, I am not going to do it anymore, we don't want anything to do with it, how is this guy still obligated to abide by the terms of the deal that the other party has backed out of and refuses to follow? So Iran has had every right to enrich uranium beyond what levels there were as part of the JCPOA. So anyway, Iran has been willing to go back to something, but they were not going to let Donald Trump, or more appropriately, Benjamin Netanyahu.
And so they've been going back and forth on this nuclear deal, like constantly. And just like we were talking about earlier, it's, hey, you know, we want to join the modern age and have nuclear energy. You know what I'm saying? And it's being painted like that. The only thing they're doing is in the background, just making bombs all day. And just like he said, Jake said, Iran hasn't done a major military strike on anyone in, I can't even think how long. You know,
since the Iraq, it really, I mean, the last major war they had was with Iraq, and that Iraq was the aggressor.
And they were the aggressor.
And that was orchestrated by Esau, as most of these wars are in the world. Most of these wars in the world are orchestrated by Esau's intelligence services. You know, they put these stupid films. That's why I hate James Bond. I absolutely hate James Bond, because they make these films and they make people think that these secret services' job is to save the world, when that's not what they do. What they do is they pull the strings behind closed doors to maintain Esau's dominance in the world through chaos.
Yeah.
You know, they start wars, regime change. You know, they fund all this, the Hollywoods and all this. They're all involved in it. They're a cult, basically, that of ninjas that just go out there to cause mischief in the world. You know, I got a scripture real quick, Psalms 58:2, and I'm going to read it in the NLT. It says, "No, you plot injustice in your hearts, ye spread violence throughout the land." And this is what we're seeing. I mean, the Iraq-Iran war was Esau spreading violence in the earth, because that was him. And you mentioned about the deal that Trump made. I believe Obama made a deal first, and then Trump came in and said, scrap that deal. If I'm not mistaken, it was a deal Obama made, right? And they were keeping it, and then they scrapped the deal. And again, that goes back to the Native American Indians, our brothers Gad, what they had to go through. Every time Gad made an agreement and a covenant with Esau, Esau broke it when he felt like it.
Every single time.
This is a known fact, and there's a famous one. I forgot the name of the specific tribe of Gad, but they actually took their case to the U.S. Supreme Court, and they won in the U.S. Supreme Court. And the sitting president at the time said, "Now that you've won that, get the court to enforce it because I own the army." Showing you, even if you win in Esau's court system, their military is what will say what happens. So you can't win with Esau. If he wants to kill and steal, that's what's going to happen.
That's what's going to happen.
Unless the Lord is with you, that's what's going to happen.
Time. GMS North Carolina, 777, Shalom, people Revelation 11:14. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. Yeah, we're going to have to see, what Iran does in retaliation, and if it creates an escalation for these things to continue to pop off. We know the MOTB still has to come out. So how this thing gonna go? We're gonna see.
But what's been interesting is the last 2 weeks, man. I've been meditating. I've been saying, man, we're due a major event. That's what I've been thinking. Like, something major's got to happen. And then, if you really look at it, within the last 2 weeks or so, there's been a lot of coinciding events on the economic level, internally within these different nations. You got these the xenophobia being ramped up.
Yeah.
You got the political dissension. You have the situation where they've implanted the AI into the government now, and they got the ICE. And people got to see that these things are happening simultaneously. And what's happening over there in the Middle East can be used as a trigger for something to happen back home. And they can use it as like an excuse for some kind of economic collapse. And that can bring in the MOTB while all that's going on, and then escalate what's happening in the Middle East later on.
Yeah, for sure.
Because
like right now, the markets were doing great until this happened. Now I see cryptos crashing, and I'm pretty sure the markets tomorrow morning are going to take a big hit. So these type of things can easily reverse, what we see in the markets.
Yeah, I mean, the bond market's been shaky for a while. It's not been looking good. The stock market's one thing. That's never really a good indicator. You look at the underlying, it's not really been looking good at all.
Right.
So they can use this as a trigger and say, okay, this is the excuse for why everything's going downhill. And the fact that you got this ICE situation happening, they already got a rollout of military. They already been testing the AI and the technology on the ground. And the Jade Helm thing, I remember when the Elder Yashawamba brought that out and the elders were speaking about it. And brothers have to remember that people made mockery of us for this. They made videos about the elders making mockery, saying, they're talking about martial law. They're talking about Jade Helm 15. They're conspiracy theorists. And then if you look at it, exactly what they were practicing in Jade Helm 15 is what Palantir is actually done in Gaza and what they're setting up in the American government. And now they're using this whole immigration thing to roll it out. At the same time, all that's happening in the Middle East, you can see that it's gearing up to something. And it could happen just like that. Things start accelerating out of nowhere, fast. It don't have to take 20 years. It don't have to, because they have the technology. The technology is already there.
Yep. They just need a reason to roll it out hardcore.
That's it. They've got the technology. It's already exists. The infrastructure really is already built.
The GMS North Carolina put Proverbs 4:16, for they sleep not except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away, unless they cause some to fall. You know, yeah, they plotting and scheming and using these different events and making these events happen, pushing these events so that they can, you know, do their crafty enterprises. All right.
Yeah, they might just start sending oil through the roof now, because they can do that,
Yep.
and then blame that on why prices are going up. Which prices were going to go up anyway. And you know, hey brothers, you fill up your petrol tanks, man. Shit might get.
Yep.
They might just start boosting that petrol.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Play a little bit more.
Yahoo, who is controlling Trump here, tell Iran you cannot enrich uranium. You cannot have any kind of nuclear program whatsoever for the benefit of your people. Iran said that's a non-starter. Now, if you want to have a serious negotiation, we'll do that. So the negotiations were going on. Steve Witkoff out there doing his stuff. Iran said, you know, this part's a non-starter. And if you're not going to be serious and you come in, try and tell us what to do and muscle us around and speak down to us, this isn't going to work. But the negotiations were not over. They were still ongoing. There was yet another meeting scheduled to take place, another round of negotiations. But Donald Trump went along with Israel, contrary to his public word, on behalf of America, and helped Israel strike Iran. That man has no honor. And he is making the people of the United States complicit in the schemes of Zionist Israel. And at this point, it's not just a handful of extremists in Israel. From top to bottom, this extremist ideology is pervading their society. It has gotten so much worse over the last 2 years. I don't completely fault the people for it, though. Yeah, a lot of them are crazy. There are elements within this.
And this is because of their propaganda machine. You got guys like Ben Shapiro, even the Alex Jones type that support the you know. And so we're going to see this create further and further escalation, further and further provocations for war. But it's just like we said, hey, we're all for it. Bring it on. You know, go get it. You know, these nations are going to be gathered. Ezekiel 35. Ezekiel chapter 35, verse 2, it says, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir, and prophesy against it, and say unto it, thus saith the Lord power, behold, O Mount Seir. And Mount Seir, that's the Edomites, the Amalekites, the small hats in the state of Israel right now. And in general, the so-called white European, right? O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out my hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword, and in the time of their calamity, in the time of that their iniquity had an end. Therefore, as I live, said the Lord power, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. If thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. So this is what we're going to see. All of these
Mm.
different are going to lead into blood being poured out. You know.
I'm seeing here,
Uh-huh.
DD Geopolitics has said the fifth wave of strikes in Western Iran is underway. Israel estimates Operation Rising Lion against Iran will continue for at least 2 weeks. IDF is calling up tens of thousands of soldiers from reserves, according to Channel 12. Also, it says that Iran says Israel and the United States will receive harsh blow in response.
Say that again. Say that last part again.
It says Iran says Israel and the United States will receive harsh blow in response.
Oh, look, a little bit of tough talk from Iran, but they always do that, don't they? You know, lately Iran has been doing a little bit more strikes. You know, a little bit more retaliation, but we'll see. You know,
Yeah, man. Them man are going on like Devin Haney out here, man. Get on the front foot, man.
stop doing all the clinching and throw some shots.
Yeah, man.
You know.
It's gonna be an exciting day over the next few days, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, brothers definitely have something to talk about now because you got the riots that are going on all around the United States. And Florida was like, y'all bring that dumb shit over here, you're gonna get your ass killed. You know. So we're gonna see how that's gonna go down in the States. You know,
They got anti-immigration, really serious ones happening in Northern Ireland right now too.
really.
Yeah,
Huh.
the fire rises.
Hey man, when that time. When that time. Joel 3:9 says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw nigh, let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Let the heathen be awakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. So this is what we're looking at. You know, if we start to see retaliation from Iran and then these other nations potentially jumping in, maybe Hezbollah kicks up over in Lebanon. We don't know what Syria is going to do. They're all over the place, you know. So now the state of Israel feels like that it has Iran in a bad spot because they've taken down all their proxies, basically. Those Houthi rebels ain't got nothing. The issue was being able to slow everything down in Gaza and Lebanon and Syria, and they've done that. Now they also you got Saudi Arabia on the hook. So hey, we could be onto something here. I'm gonna play a little bit more, and we'll close it out.
Cool.
Society that are still kind of left leaning for their political system, who are against what is being done to the Palestinians, who stand up for Palestinian rights.
Let's skip ahead, see if he says something. Cause he's all over Twitter, you know.
It's been so long since I've done live streaming. I'm not even sure at this point what all. Let me get signed in here to something. Make it bigger. Make that go away. Oops, wrong one. Make that go away.
We're gonna see a lot of this.
Yeah, oil's up 13%. Oh no, 10%.
10% already.
Yes. Yeah.
Of Iran at dawn today, the Zionist regime unleashed its dirty and bloody hand on a crime in our beloved country, revealing its evil nature more than ever before by striking residential centers. The regime should expect severe punishment. All right. This one says targeted Iranian nuclear sites. Breaking new explosions on the outskirts of Tehran.
Is it breaking up?
No.
Stuff that we come across. If there's anything gruesome, I'll skip past it. But you know, that's just how it is. This is live. I can't really pre-screen it. Let's see. So here's someone cheering the killing. Additional 11 minutes ago, additional Israeli airstrikes reported against Iran. Congressman Sarah Jacobs says Israel strikes risk not only a war with Iran, but a larger regional war. Both sides need to de-escalate immediately. You know what, with respect, Congresswoman Sarah Jacobs, Iran should de-escalate after they have struck back. If you let someone like Israel, and this applies to us as individuals, if you let someone come and smack you in the face or kick your children or set your house on fire or something, and you're just like, you know, you should de-escalate. Hell no. You fight back. You defend yourself. You defend your people. You defend your family. So no, there should be no de-escalation at this point. Hopefully there will be de-escalation, but Israel is still out there killing Iranians. But
we know that ultimately there is not going to be a de-escalation, according to the prophecies. This thing is just going to continue to be a rumor. You know, wars and rumors of wars, and it's going to keep going until it actually pops. You know,
I'm looking at, you know, the general consensus, and most of these right wingers are saying we need to stay out of it.
Yeah.
Even the agents. So we're probably going to see a situation where these lot do their thing, and it looks like America's not getting involved, but then for national security reasons, they eventually gonna have to get involved, because that's gonna mash up the whole economy, you know, through the oil prices and all that. So it's inevitable America would have to get involved eventually. They would have to.
Got it. We gonna see, man. Do you got anything else for me, man? I'm gonna close out.
No. That's all good, man.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna sit up and listen to more of this, and if something significant happens, we can jump back on. You know, maybe, you know, we'll see.
God, man, it's like I don't want to go sleep, but I need to, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking. I was like, it's gotta be really good morning. I appreciate you jumping on, bro.
Hey, man, I couldn't sleep, bro.
But all right, bro. So with that, man, we're gonna say call Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh. B'Shem Rakar Kodash. We're gonna double honor to the apostles, the elders, and bishops of the millstone. Let's peace, love, and salutation to you brothers out there pushing word of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh and keep the water to the icon, putting all the scriptures and making the points in the comment boards. And yeah, stay locked in. Shalom.
Shalom.